From coaches to casuals, grassroots to the league, this is Open Gym. I'm Coach Q.
Coach T, who I be.
Coach way too nice, baby.
A quick icebreaker. Again, bunch of coaches on the couch in which we've all went through different versions of our coaching journey.
Yeah.
So just an icebreaker question. What is some things or what is something that as a coach didn't come natural to you? A part of the game as a coach that you had to grow into. Talk to me, fellas.
I would say, for the most part, really managing your emotions throughout the game. You know, and it's not a good or a bad thing, but, you know, it's also learning how to detach your emotions from what's going on so you can actually lead and have those follow. You know, if you're an emotional and rowdy coach, you're going to have an emotional and rowdy team. So you have a team that may complain a lot. You have a team that always looking for fouls and everything like that, but you have that mentality of, you know, next play mentality, just being grounded, not even worrying about that. You know, it takes a lot to get to that point, especially when you start coaching directly from playing. You know, because you still have that competitive nature that you feel like your energy or your emotion can affect the game even when you're not playing it. So I think that's one thing for me. It took some time to grow into, you know, but I've also felt like having that compassion and emotion also helped me be the coach that I was for the players that needed me at that time too, though. But even so, then it was a growth period of getting past that part of where, you know, displaying the more emotion, but displaying more effort, more energy into the team, coaching the team, you know, getting them geared for what's going on in the moment, how to get through the ups and downs of the game itself. So that's one of the things I felt like I had to grow into, and I feel like you're going to always continue to grow in something like that as you mature in the game anyway.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, you know, even we see coaches like even Pop lose it every once in a while. It's like, you know, you see, you know, Calipari, he may lose it. You know, the best of the best do it. Izzo, he may lose it, but at the same time, it's how they manage the game throughout.
Izzo gonna lose it.
Oh yeah, he's gonna lose it, bro.
Yeah, he gonna.
I mean, it's like expected for him to lose it, but at the same time, it's also a control in how he does it. You know, I mean, I'm pretty sure we're from the outside looking in. It may not make sense to us. We're probably looking like, bro, I know bro ain't gonna respond to that, but you know, we know also, like I know also, you looking outside in from what I was doing, is like, you know, you may think, oh man, this boy is probably crazy and undisciplined, but then you come and see how we are.
Right.
So, but you know, putting it all together is like you have to grow emotionally in the game for more than anything else and be able to control that part of the game.
Yeah.
Trey, talk to us.
I would say that I had to learn that you couldn't coach every kid the same. Like when I came into it and how I was showed and, you know, seeing guys do what they do, I tried to take that approach with every kid.
Yeah.
And then you would lose kids. So you got to know which kids you can do it with, and then which kids you might have to pull him to the side and say, hey, you know, that wasn't right. You can't cuss him out like the other one because the other one is used to that. He might have a dad around him. He's built for it. So his dad might really discipline him and teach him, but the other kid might not have a father figure around. You know, he's a mama's boy, but then you get at him and then he just ball up. Like, I ain't used to that. So I had to learn how to be able to talk to every one of them. And one kid that broke me, shout out to Isaiah. I heard he's 6'4" now. He don't even play basketball no more. He hated it. But when I started the program, his dad just wanted him to do it. And that's where I kind of grasped, like, I can't talk to him how I talk to him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Isaiah shut all the way down. I'm like, everybody get online. Isaiah, you better pick it up. You better run fast. And he just looked at me like, okay, you ain't my daddy. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, and 2 years in though, Isaiah started to get better, you know, and his dad said, you know, in the other little leagues that he would play in, he would display that and made me happy as a coach. But I learned how to speak his language. Yeah. And then speak the other players' language.
Yeah.
And then secondly, just substitutions. knowing when players are tired. You might be fussing at them, and in their mind, they thinking they're moving, but you got to sit them, and let them get some, get some rest while you bring somebody else in, and just learning when the player is tired, get another one in to kind of do the job that you want. So substitute. Yeah.
No, I dig it. And I guess to go along, mine is probably going to be close to what you just said. Rotations was not something that came really natural to me. And that's one of the things when I think back that I wish that I could have done a little bit better, just because of when you're coaching, you can get so locked into the actual game.
Yeah.
And it'd be key substitutions that when you first started, you'd be like, damn, if I'd have just switched here with that, or, looking at how they was matching up with there and made this adjustment, let alone trying to make sure that at that time, all the kids got in. And again, we talked last week about sometimes your kid might not play, but it do be tough as a coach sometimes if you didn't travel to Alabama and that kid didn't play, and you'd be like, damn, like I still wish I could have found a minute or two for that kid inside a moment that wasn't as crucial. But at times, especially if like you're the only coach on the sideline, that becomes like its own thing. It's a little different when you do have like an assistant, because then you can start delegating that and it becomes a little bit easier. But I know for me, rotations was definitely one of the things.
And talking on rotations, that's a good one. Like that's something that you brought up. Like I seen that some kids conflict with kids that you may think that's a starting five. So it's good to kind of mix and match and see who works with who and who don't, because you could have a court full of alphas and they all clashing. And you ain't getting no ball moving. You ain't getting and then one kid might not want to pass the other kid the ball because he's like, shoot, I'm the man. So, you can take that kid and bring him in off the bench behind him, not just because he's better, but when he comes in, he provide a spark. He better coming off the bench, giving you a spark instead of starting. You know, so that rotation piece, that's good.
In which I guess this kind of leads to a segue in this conversation that I think would be good. I think a lot of times when you hear like the casuals talk about good coaching, a lot of times it can simply be them talking about the rotations or something like that, that the coach is doing. Or when you see like young parents and they just see a rowdy coach on the sideline that's just yelling a lot, they might take that as good coaching. What are some, I guess, as you can kind of rattle them off, give at least one or two, what are some underrated and overrated signs of good and bad coaching?
I would say one of the underrated signs is game management. Being able to, just watch a game and see a coach who can, either be up or down and finish that game off on a high note. And, just watching them, either versus how they have a set for each moment, or, and their players are responsive to it, and it's not anything out of the norm for them. I love to see a team that, in spite of what's going on in high intensity of the game, the crowd's going crazy, that they're able to execute efficiently. It was a championship game a few years ago in the conference championship where bucket was made.
This is on the girls' side?
Yeah, on the girls' side. Bucket was made, while one team was kind of celebrating, the other team literally got the ball out, boom, pitch, shot, game. And it was like,
what just happened?
The other team, everybody was like, what just happened? But you can tell they practiced it. They were prepared for that moment. So just poised in the moment. So game management, seeing how the players respond in spite of whatever's going on, bad calls, do they pout? Do they just respond and say, next play? Do they help each other up? Some of those things that you can tell just from the players itself, not even looking at the coach, we can tell by the players how they respond and just act in the moment. if they're well coached. And I mean, that's a sign of a good coach. But also, just like I say, game management. End of a game, how you using your timeouts? What plays are you calling? Are you going offense, defense? Are your players prepared to be in that moment and respond to everything you're giving them?
Yeah.
So, those are some of the I think underrated things. I think some of the overrated things would be, I'm not going to say it can really be overrated, but sometimes, just the blessing of having, an abundance of talent can
talk about that
can oversee things. But I think even with that is like, I feel like even with an abundance of talent, you have to have a structure to that as well.
Yeah. So no, there's a talent in coaching, good talent as well.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
But it could also hold. It can hide bad coaching.
Yeah.
So it's a seesaw.
Yeah. And even with, we can even go down another list with that other side of it too. Because what's considered that, but even with being, I hate to say anything could be overrated when you're exploring being a good coach. You know what I mean? Because it's a skill within itself. So you can't really have an overrated skill to coach well. But like I say, there are some things that can be overlooked.
Just like and when I say that, I'm meaning like outside looking in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like things that can get overlooked as far as the preparation that goes into it. So I would say outside looking in, you're like, oh, that coach is having an abundance of talent. Well, nah, but you got to see what goes on behind the scenes, the conditioning, the getting the program, having everyone buy into the system. Those type things you don't see from the outside looking in, though.
Right.
But for the most part, I'm really keen on looking at game management, looking how players respond to their coaches as well. In the moment itself.
I'd say a overrated sign is when you see that you said it in the beginning. It's like when you see that hoorah coach that do a lot of that just fussing and yelling as the game is going on. And then he'll even take it to the point where he'll call a timeout and make them all do push-ups in front of everybody.
Oh, yeah.
That's an overrated sign. Like that guy 9 times out of 10 just learned the diamond defense and how it worked. And he really don't know how to coach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I ain't knocking nobody because like you said, Wayne, you said something key. In the coaching community, I try to support all my brothers.
Yeah.
And the thing is,
it's hard enough. It's hard enough.
And we got to support each other. But I've seen guys that have a following or people think, oh, he the man because the jerseys look good. All that look good.
Yeah.
And the name sound good. But they love when he call a timeout and everybody get down and get pushed. That look, man, that ain't what you said was key. When that team made the bucket, they got it out, pitch, shot.
Game.
That coach practiced that. That's an underrated sign. That shows they go over it and he know what he's doing. But when a guy just crack the whip on guys and just make them do push-ups, that's not a good coach. All right, guys. So, that's my overrated sign, man. Underrated, I would say, like, guys that know how to manage, like you said, like just seeing guys that really know how to prepare. Like they start out, like you said, they might have a set that they go, then that coach that they're playing might be good. And he called a timeout and he adjusts and put a wrinkle in the set.
Oh, yeah.
And you oh, shit. Like they was hedging and he slipped and boom, there it go. Like, damn, like he went in and he knew what they was going to do and he adjusted to their adjustment.
Yeah. I mean, in-game adjustments are definitely key when you're talking about game management. Cause like you're saying, as you're coaching the game, you're also observing it.
Yeah.
And you're also observing tendencies that you see.
Yeah.
So like you say, it may be when this person's in the game, they don't ever get to the nail. They don't help side. So I know this person's going to hug. So if we run this play, I know it's not going to be any help side. I can clear that side out, throw the lob over. Those are type things that you say, like you wrinkles in the plays that you already have. Mm-hmm. But, once again, it goes back to your players being able to execute it in the moment. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's pivotal, man. Like that's a skill to be able to, literally engage when your coach is talking and he has your attention and you're able to execute when it means the most. But to you, it's just like another player in the park or another player at practice. You know what I mean? So things like that, like you said, just piggyback on all those things like that. Those in-game adjustments are also a telltale sign.
And also for y'all watching that adjustment don't happen unless you got kids that shout out to the dads and moms that watch the film with the kids and help build the IQ where these kids can follow what the coach is doing. It's not always the coach's fault. So coaches, don't think that we bashing y'all. Sometimes it be the kids that y'all dealt. Kids, y'all need to watch film. You know what I'm saying? So you can execute, that coach get on the board and draw it up. I always tell my guys when I used to train, I would train in a certain method. And I tell them why I'm doing it, because I'm like, if you can follow this, and this that I told you to do, when your coach draw the play up, you should be able to follow that. If you can't follow me, then you gonna fail when that coach draw up something for you. No. Yeah. So, like, shout out to the coaches that, that know what they're doing, and shout out to the parents too that's, helping these kids with a basketball IQ. Some of them have none of it.